Well, let's talk about some games that don't suck, but, you know, they're not exactly going to be counted amongst the greats of any system. On one level, they're kind of barely games because there's not a beginning, middle, or end. There's no final guy to defeat, and hell, in most cases, no enemies at all. They're what's known as simulation games or freeform games. You've played games like this before, you know, they're like Civilization, SimCity, Roller Coaster Tycoon, The Sims, or the Total War series, just to name a few. Well, let's take a look at a few of these games and see if the freeform games stack up to others.
Okay, so the first one up is Theme Park for the PlayStation 1. Alright, in this game, you basically build a theme park. You'll build rides, shops, and other attractions to make your customers stay all that more enjoyable and make sure they spend more money. You're going to have to budget about how much it is to get into the park or how much each ride costs, along with the expenses of staff, ride maintenance, stock for the food shops, and of course research for new attractions. Alright, for this game being originally for the computer, it's actually a really good port. The graphics are pretty good, and the control is really easy considering that the game was originally used with a mouse. They shouldn't take a person that long to learn, and it is fun to play. The game itself is pretty easy to pick up and play. It's really just about running a park, then selling it and buying a bigger plot of land, then selling that to buy something bigger and better. The object of the game being to have built a theme park in several locations around the world. My only complaint with this game is the fact that there is no music, so it does tend to get a little quiet, but that can be easily solved by cranking some Slipknot.
So, Theme Park is actually just a great game to sit there, waste an afternoon, drink some beer, and build a goddamn theme park. You know, it's not a bad game, but it's not going to get like the action response of Battle Arena Toshinden, but it's certainly not terrible. Let's look at another type of game in this same vein, SimCity 2000, on once again the PlayStation 1.
Well, where Theme Park was a great port from PC to PS1, SimCity 2000 is a fucking disaster. I mean, look at this shit. There's 1,000 buttons and 1,000 menus, and to make matters worse, they didn't even bother to change the fucking controls from a mouse to a controller. This means every time you've got to drag that fucking pointer over, you have to continually use the D-pad, and this gets to be a real pain in the ass after a total of about 5 fucking minutes. That's not the worst part about this game. What really makes this game unplayable is the loading every time you do anything involving moving the map. To putting in a new residential zone, power plant, or anything, this game has to fucking load. This means that load pause that happens about every 5 fucking seconds, making this game a migraine maker. I couldn't play this piece of shit for more than a few minutes.
Okay, so SimCity 2000 was a complete fucking disaster of a goddamn game. But what about the third game I've picked for these reviews? I mean, one of the original SNES launch titles. How bad can this one be? This game sparked every damn freeform game out there. That's right, it's SimCity on SNES.
Okay, so first off, let's talk about SimCity, the game itself, since I'm on the subject of freeform games. Well, this is the first one of them. SimCity was the first freeform game that had no set objective to complete or levels to get through. In the early 90s, this game was part of the SNES launch titles, and this port is probably one of the best ports from a PC to a home console. Now, this game has some unique features from the original PC version. First, the monster is replaced by Bowser destroying your city all to hell, and you'll get a Mario statue once you get 500,000 people living in your fair city. There are 2 new scenarios not seen in other versions. Also exclusive to the SNES version is the character of Dr. Wright, which is based on SimCity creator Will Wright. Also, this is the first version of a SimCity game that had hospitals and schools, although you can't place them yourself like in SimCity 2000, but they're still here, taking up vacant residential lots. The controls in this game are great, and it's extremely fun to play. You can learn this game in about 10 minutes, but making it to the goal of a population of 500,000 happy citizens can take a good long time. The scenarios can add another challenge to the game. All in all, the replay value is extremely high, and this game is basically one of the classics on the SNES library. If you haven't played it, go to eBay, buy a copy, pop it in your Super Nintendo, and build a goddamn city.
Well, that's 3 of the freeform games for you. Are they fun and addictive? Well, when well made, hell yeah. And when not, they are horrible abominations of shit. Outside of that, there's nothing really I can say about them. Is just check them out for yourself.